The film begins by showing some children who were watching TV. They are watching a very famous show called First 24. And then they hear some people shouting. Those people were also quite frightened, as if they realize that the children are hearing their voices. One of the men comes rushing in, and they slam the door shut loudly. It doesn't take long, and they are just looking at each other confused. At the same time, a woman comes in holding a small child in her arms. She leaves the child with the group and tells the children not to go outside this room no matter what happens. She doesn't give any reason, she just checks the locks there. When she thinks everything is fine, she suddenly leaves the place. From outside, strange sounds start coming again, like the sound of glass breaking and screams, among many others. The children are startled and make every effort to remain completely silent. One of the children Then he hears that someone is trying to get in angrily, and suddenly the door bursts open loudly and an infected, meaning a zombie, comes inside. The children are They become panicked. He had become paralyzed with fear. The child who went near the door was in bad shape. He just watches the creatures attacking and then collapses. He sees his mother outside, so he runs towards her. But as his mother sees a zombie, she suddenly slams the door shut so that nothing happens to the child. The frightened boy ran upward, but there were also many infected people there, leaving no safe place anywhere. His own home was also surrounded by these zombies. He runs quite fast due to the chaos. He falls, stumbles, but does not stop. After that, he approaches an old church and turns towards it. It is revealed that the child's name is Timmy, who then enters with heavy breaths and sees his dad standing there, who is the priest of the church. It seemed as if There is no fear or terror within him. The completely calm child tries to inform his dad about what he saw, but his dad stops him midway and says, "I know everything." He has also accepted this fact. Then he takes out his rosary, gives it to the child and says, "Hide." The child obeys and hides. And then many zombies burst through the door, rushing inside angrily. The priest does not move at all. He remains standing there. Then the zombies also bite him, and now he becomes an infected like them. The child who was hiding was waiting for the right moment. Then he quickly leaves without looking towards the church, running away. He held the rosary tightly as if it was his. It is widely narrated by many that the highly contagious zombie virus, known as the Rage virus, spread through this exact manner and has ultimately taken over the entire world. Then Europe isolated the entire island. They ensured that no one could enter or leave. Thus, 28 years passed. The survivors, those who are still alive, are barely managing their lives. In one of the small outposts, a father lifts his son and says, "Son, today is a big day." My son, whose name is Spike, gets up early and picks up his bag. The rest of the people are doing the same, meaning they are getting ready. Everyone has something they've made themselves. It's all impressive, like a naja, knife and bow and arrow, but it's useless here. All of the items are entirely handmade, harking back to the old era and showcasing their remarkable ability to skillfully manage with only a few essential materials and resources. Spike has a bow and arrow, a sharp dagger, and a doll, which he always keeps well, although these were not useful in battle. But he is a piece of the old world that shouldn't be abandoned. Spike goes to the kitchen, where his dad's companion, who was also their neighbor, is. He was an old man. He would be waiting for breakfast. Then his mom's voice came. Their sick date, named Jimmy, goes towards his wife's room. They yelled after them as mom speaks harshly, asking why they disturbed her. She hugs Spike and says that her head has been aching since morning. She tries to stay calm, but weakness is clearly visible on her face. Jimmy plans to leave this land. Mama nervously says that our son is only 12 years old, and although he himself is not well, Jimmy doesn't listen to a single word and leaves the room while Spike and mom patiently try to converse with him. He sincerely tries his very best each and every day to calm his current mom, as he never could successfully soothe his deceased mom's deep-seated pride. Before leaving from this particular place, Spike carefully wraps his mother in a greasy handkerchief and cunningly deceives her by lying that he is on his way to school. As a result, she truly believes him. Before leaving the village, Spike's neighbor gives him his first command. This is not just a weapon. There is a sign indicating that Spike is about to do something big. Spike and his date, Jamie, leave the village and people come out of their homes to encourage them. No one was laughing. Everyone was serious because they knew this was a mission with a lot of risk, and behind it, there is also a reason. When they reach the border where the safe zone ends and the real world begins, the community leader comes. If they go to the mainland, there will be no way to come back, because no one will come to save you. Many people have gone there before you, but none have returned alive. Then they discover a secret path in the middle of the ocean. When the seawater recedes slightly, that's when the path becomes visible and people start walking on it. After a short while, they manage to cross that sea path and they reach the mainland where they had to go, which was their destination. But as soon as the water level rises, that path gets submerged again. It's not that in this condition, anyone can cross it. As these people move forward, they hear a strange song, and at that moment, these people encounter many infected zombies, which looked very gruesome because their bones were protruding, skin was badly stretched, and their eyes were very raw. And these are the creatures that Spike has to face. His mission is very clear. He had to take down an infected person. There will be a Jujit test which will prove that he is ready. Jamie tells Spike that you have to be fast. Binna was scared and your aim should hit the exact spot. Both of them proceed, each of their steps putting weight on Spike. After that, as they move forward through the dense and dark landscape, their first target appears, a very slow-moving fat zombie that crawls, marking this critical time. To show how much power Spike has, its skin was quite thick and it moves in a very strange way. It drags some like a very large snake. Spike quickly takes out his bow and arrow, shoots it and kills it. The arrow hits directly on its neck and it falls down heavily. There are many more zombies coming there. They were also very robust, their numbers were increasing. Jamie didn't want to fight, he had seen this before. And they start calmly killing all the zombies one by one, and their real shock comes when they see an infected child. They retreated because no one wanted to fight that infected child, but here Spike begins to think that he has killed the remaining zombies, which is no small feat. In a way, the confidence he now possesses has emerged because he is continuously accompanied by the spirits of those who have dearly departed. Together, they bravely move forward and ultimately discover an old abandoned house. They think they might find something inside, so out of curiosity both enter. But the atmosphere suddenly changes. A man is hanging upside down being eaten by crows. There were some words written on his chest forming the name Jimmy. He tells his son that there aren't many good people in Melland because many people are living alone. After losing everything, Jalim and Khaufnana become ruthless and they do things that we can't even imagine. Things that can scare a person even in their dreams. The message of this hanging man is very clear. He was hanged like this, Jenny, without a blink. He tells Spike to finish it. I'm not saying this for our safety. Rather, this is how you will learn how to survive in this chaos. There is no room for hesitation here. There is no second chance. Staying here means only facing the infected, not just facing them, but possibly more terrifying things, Spike. Then he directly shoots the arrow into that man's head, causing his death and conclusively finishing the important job that Spike and Jimmy had carefully and meticulously assigned. They move forward again towards the mainland, placing each step with great care when they see a deer's severed head hanging. And the rest of its body was scattered there in a terrible state, which made them realize that this wasn't the work of ordinary zombies, but rather zombies infected with the rage virus called alpha zombies, which are very cunning and can even think. Besides, they are also dangerously angry like madmen. That is, they are far superior to normal zombies. Upon knowing this, both the father and son were very scared and felt in danger, so they ran as fast as they could. To get out of there, they see Alpha from a distance, not just one but a whole horde of Alpha zombies approaching them, which made the people quite panicked. Jimmy, Farah and Spike pull them close and makes a plan, which was an ordinary plan but could have been very useful. He says that they have to run and keep shooting and must not stop so that zombies do not overrun them. This is a battle more important than their own restlessness for their survival, where every moment is very important, but Spy gets completely panicked. He loses control. So despite having good training, he couldn't perform a single wall properly. Because the pressure exerted on him is so intense and constant, the fear ultimately overcomes him. The trouble was that the infected were rapidly approaching them in the form of a horde, and now Jimmy and Spike were left with whatever method they could think of. They have to retaliate because of that. It's so intense that the entire security goes completely out of control. In panic, Jamie and Spike barely escape and reach back near that old house, and with great difficulty they enter inside. They have something to... They had logged heavy items like furniture in the attic, dragging whatever they could find and placing them on doors and windows. In a way, they have created a defensive barrier. Meanwhile, the alpha zombies were watching them from the nearby hill. Their presence had also made them aware of the danger, and because there was no way out, they decide to stay in the attic for the night until the security comes under control. Both know that going back to the island now is not without danger, because the danger is so great that if they try to leave, it's as if darkness falls upon them. They watch the bonfire being extinguished. Pi asks, "What is all this panic?" Jamie says, "I don't know either. Although I have been here before, I have no idea about this situation." Suddenly, Spike is taken aback. He has a vivid dream where he sees his beloved mother drowning in dark, tumultuous waters. It was so distressing that he wakes up with a lump forming in his throat, yet they must courageously face another, even greater and more dangerous threat together. Now, because the house was quite old and dilapidated, one part was right under their feet, so it was very difficult for him to go out on time. They go and are now forced to think that as soon as possible, return to the island. They were lucky that they saw a secret path amid the sea. Now the father and daughter miss time and start retreating quickly, but they had no idea that Alpha was very fast and was watching every aspect of them. At this moment, a terrifying zombie Alpha who had been relentlessly chasing them now seems to be advancing toward them at full speed. Their tension increased so much that both run at full speed into the island to save their lives. Both reach exactly on time and also succeed in signaling the tower for help. As soon as their signals are received, the communities form and drop many arrows on Alpha to stop him. But it makes no difference to Alpha, and when the burning arrows hit him, they enter him directly, killing the monster finally, and the entire community breathes a sigh of relief. Spike returns and a celebration is held in joy. Everyone praises him because he was the first to go on a mission outside the island to kill zombies and came back alive. Jamie also praises his son for his bravery a lot. He was telling every small to large detail of their mission trip. Such as Spike handled things when things became very disastrous and is proud of his son. His attempt was to make everyone know how brave and righteous his son is, but in the middle of the party, Spike sees something that astonishes him. He sees his dad quietly leaving with another woman. He feels bad and sad. He doesn't have time to decide what to do, and now he leaves without saying anything. He goes back home alone. When he arrives, his neighbor is already waiting for Spike. Seeing him, the neighbor immediately senses that something is wrong. He makes an effort to calm Spike down, while Spike tells him that he is very much worried about his mother, explaining that she is getting sicker day by day instead of showing any signs of improvement. And this is breaking Spike from the inside. Then the neighbor tells him about a doctor who was once famous for his skills and who might be able to help Spike's mother. But that doctor disappeared years ago, completely gone. Now Spike tells him about the bonfire that was burning in the attic. Hearing this, the neighbor is wide-eyed. They say that if the fire remains burning, it signifies the doctor is still alive there, which means there continues to be a chance for Spike's mother to get better and recover her health. If he finds the doctor, then the next morning Jamie fights at home in an intoxicated state, and Spall, who had been silently tolerating everything, is coming. Today he explodes, starts accusing Jamie of betraying Mom because he's involved with another woman, claiming he has seen it, and he also says that you have kept it hidden that the doctor is still young and alive. In the end, Jamie concedes. She had met the doctor at Melland years ago. The doctor was in his uniform. And I saw myself surrounded by many corpses. It felt like some experiment was taking place. He says that the scene was so vivid and compelling that I had made the firm decision never to go there again. However, Spike had already resolved to take his son directly to that doctor without any hesitation. No matter how many serious warnings or persistent fears come his way from others, Spike directly tells his dad to stay back without any hesitation. "Leave me alone," Spike exclaimed fiercely before abruptly pulling out a sharp knife to threaten his dad. However, Jamie, who was much stronger, easily disarmed him. He did not punish his son and quietly left. Meanwhile, Spike plans to set fire to community things to cause significant havoc. Then Dua and the commotion give him the best opportunity so that he can secretly take his mom towards the main lane. He takes his mom from Deji and leaves. His mom, who was battling her illness. When they realized where he was, they became quite worried. But Spike reassures them, saying everything will be fine. His only wish is to reach the doctor so that his illness can be cured. As night fell, he stopped somewhere to take a little break. But that same night, a strange zombie crept in. It's like a joint. Its size is very big. It approaches Spike very closely when it is about to attack Spike. While Gari Nirmi was sleeping deeply, his mom arrived just in time, attacked a zombie and killed it. And thus Spike's life is saved during this time. Unlike someone else from Melland, a group of soldiers was trying to escape from the zombies. They were being followed by a new alpha. They were so panicked that the soldiers kept falling one by one. The zombies launched dangerous attacks on them, making it impossible to escape, and in the end only one survivor remained who was left alone. Although he was injured, he was barely alive. After this, we find out that one of them, a zombie woman, is pregnant. Spike and his mom continue their journey on the mainland. Sometimes their journey is perilous too, like when his sick mother starts having strange thoughts. Coming out of her thoughts, she dives deep into contemplation, remembering the small moments of her life during that time. When the zombie virus had not arrived, then Spike sees another zombie. He is subscribing, and this zombie was attacking like a dragon. Spike carefully thought and aimed an arrow and shot it down, but the sound of its fall was so loud. So the attention of nearby zombies immediately turned that way. Within just a few seconds, a horde of zombies falls upon Spike and his mom. They were coming very fast and quickly getting close to them. Now they began searching for places to hide and took shelter in gas stations that had been empty for years. These entire places were filled with gas, making it difficult to breathe. The situation worsened when zombies started infiltrating the station. When it seemed that everything was about to end, a soldier suddenly arrived. He approached the infected, set them on fire, and at exactly that moment, Spike and his mom's life was saved. He tells them that he managed to survive somehow, but also delivers the bad news that once you set foot on the island, it's difficult to return. No, it's impossible. The roads have been fully revealed to them and cannot be completely closed. There is no way back when the three move forward. When they proceed, Spike's mom feels somewhat better, and then they see a train in front. Upon entering, they observe the prevalent zombie descending that they had seen earlier in Spike. Subchab was sitting, looking like some ghost. Spike's mom decides to help in giving birth to a child. In a short time, she gives birth to a baby girl who was quite healthy, and now as soon as the zombies descend, they attack them. Then the soldier, without wasting time, kills the descending zombie. The soldier Spike tells his mom to leave the child, saying she is a monster and could pose a threat to us. However, Spike's mom takes care of her. Believing that the child cannot harm us, another alpha arrives and violently attacks the soldier, badly hitting his head. He brutally separates them. Seeing this, both mother and son immediately flee, although the creature chases them as if intending to catch them. Suddenly, the doctor himself appears and directly shoots the alpha, causing its death. Now, with the doctor taking Spike and his mom, taking them to his secret hideout located in the middle of the dense jungle, the doctor shows them all his personal belongings and the items on his body. Has applied iodine rigorously. The doctor says that iodine works as the only fast-acting agent because the virus cannot damage it at all. For this, it is like poison. He says that he does this every day, which is why he is still alive. Then the doctor keeps giving them the soldier's head, saying to place it in that alien pyramid where the other heads are lying. Then Spike agrees to his words. The doctor then starts examining the baby and informs that the child is not infectious, which makes him very happy because this discovery is quite liked it. After this, he begins to check up on Spike's mom. He needs to examine her thoroughly, and suddenly her facial expressions become serious. After a tense silence, finally the doctor speaks. He reveals that Spike's mom's illness has worsened significantly. The virus has destroyed both her body and mind. Spike's mom has cancer, and his condition is very bad. He says that it began in the brain, spread throughout the whole body, and is slowly racing inward from the inside. It is not at all clear where all this started, but one thing is certain, which is very bad news. There is no cure for this disease. No matter how many attempts are made, no one can even slightly alleviate his illness. Spike hopes that the doctor will save his mom. But his mom has been feeling internally for some time that she is going to die. She accepts this bitter truth and decides that she will face death. But she will not resist because she has to die from all this someday. The reality is that Spike was rendered unconscious. He was given an injection so that he wouldn't let his mom die before his eyes because maybe he might not be able to bear the pain. When he finally wakes up, everything would have ended. But Spike does not remain empty-handed. His mom's head dies. Then Spike keeps his mother's head near the pyramid as a memorial because it was his own way to properly say goodbye to his mother. The Pyramid Alpha, which is the most dangerous zombie creature, loses its control and it was ready to attack the doctor, but Spike comes rushing and gives Alpha an injection, stopping it. At that moment, the doctor's life is saved. The doctor looks into Spike's eyes and says that it's time to move forward. Together, they try to reach their area with the baby. She leaves the baby near the community along with a note. At which the final farewell takes place, the baby is properly welcomed and its name is given based on its mother's name. He tries to reach up, but the wave is so high that he cannot cross. Meanwhile, when Spike is fishing alone, an infected person secretly approaches him. Instantly, he kills him without any hesitation, but then Spike gets completely surrounded when they arrive there. Someone arrives there, none other than Jimmy, the same child who was seen at the beginning. But now he has grown up and has become the leader of an entire community. Encouraging Spike, he explains that he is saving Jinnah and offers Spike the opportunity to join his community for this important purpose. Spike agrees and the two proceed forward on their mission. And with this, the film ends here.